With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show / LSU baseball postgame. Taylor Sharp here with you. Cassie Spazzali, Jacob Beck, and Matthew Musso. We're going to chop it up here. Look, are we going to kind of fly by the seat of our pants today? Yes, we are. Are we going to have fun? Probably so. So Hunt will take over at some point. He is doing LSU baseball postgame. We don't know when that's going to be. I'm thinking likely me and Moose will take you for an hour. Hunt taking over at 2 o'clock, taking you the rest of the way. Mr. Musso, what's going on, man? We just watched ourselves a heck of a baseball game.
Yeah, feeling good about that, Taylor. 9-5 over the course of 2 days. Play. LSU, I mean, you just want some totality on it, I think, to start. They have played 2-0, first of all. They're 2-0 for the first time in the College World Series since 2009. That is so refreshing because it has been a very long time since LSU has gotten to play through the through the winner's bracket, and that's obviously what you want to do in this situation. In totality for the 2 games, I look at this and I say LSU has played just about as efficient of baseball as really they're capable of doing. You won 2 games, you won them in 2 different ways, behind great starting pitching from Cade Anderson and behind what was looking like it was going to be a great start from Anthony Ianson. The rain comes. You get a great bridge effort from Kason Evans. Your bullpen holds the line. The one thing that has been consistent in those 2 wins is timely hitting. LSU, that is definitely carried over from the Super Regional. They are coming up with the big swings when they need it most. I think the 8th and the 9th innings, the 7th and the 9th innings are 7th and 8th innings are the perfect example of that for LSU here in this game, but also 5 out of your 9 runs scored with 2 outs in this ballgame against UCLA. And when LSU's been going great this year offensively, that has been a hallmark of their team, and it was again in the matchup against UCLA.
I'm glad you brought up getting to play through the winner's bracket for the first time since 2009, right? Because if you remember in 2017 and 2023, you were able to make the championship series. Yeah. You lost a game 2 in both of those. But what did you have to have? You had to have performances from guys that you didn't think you were going to get, right? You had incredible performances from Caleb Gilbert in 2017. And then last season, or 2023, the last time you made it to the championship, Griffin Herring goes about 7 innings against Wake Forest. Hadn't seen him do that. Nate Ackenhausen steps up. He becomes a starting pitcher for you. Like, it's doable. It's just a lot harder. You've made things easier on yourself. And Musso here mentions, well, it's kind of in 2 days because surprise, surprise, guys. Koki Riley tweeted this out last night. Here's a fun little nugget for you. 19th time this season, LSU baseball affected by rain delays. That's damn near a third of your season. Like, that's a lot. But we'll kind of do the score and recap, and then I'll get your thoughts on maybe what we saw offensively and on the mound. So, obviously, yesterday we were all tuned in. UCLA starts out hot, scores 3 runs in the top of the first off of Ianson, and we're really hard-hit balls. Like, 2 of the runs scored, the hits didn't even leave the infield. Like, one of them, Dickinson dove to stop. He hopped up, just didn't have a throw to make. Run scores there, but Ianson battles back. 2 straight shutout innings in the second and the third, and then LSU responded. You get singles by Ethan Fry, Stephen Milam, Jake Brown. That produces the first run in the bottom of the first. And then the guy who probably needed to have it the most, Jared Jones, comes up, gets a 3-run home run, make it 4-3. Then the Tigers went ahead 5-3 in the third after a 2-out single by Luis Hernandez. Ianson looks like he's rolling, and then the dark clouds roll in, the lightning happens, and you get delayed 3 hours. They announce you pick it up today. You go with Case and Evans. We'll get to that in a second. But look, Evans was good. He was 4 1/3. He allowed 2 runs. You go Cooper Williams after that. He just didn't have it control-wise. Shores comes in, 1 pitch out in the 8th inning, and then he shuts the door in the 9th. I mean, I love what they did pitching-wise in that game. And then offensively, Milam, again, a single up the middle to make it 6-3. Jake Brown singles. That makes it 7-3. Dickinson comes up in the 7th inning. He has an RBI to shallow right. It's 8-3 now. Jared Jones, again, coming up with a big hit after that awful outing against Arkansas. Line drive up the middle. That scores Ethan Fry at third. You make it 9-5. And then again, Chase Shores closes it out in the 9th inning. Moose, kind of a complete effort. What did you think about, the big thing going into today was who are you going to pitch? How long are they going to go? Thoughts on Case and Evans?
Yeah, no, Case and Evans was the right call there. It was interesting because if you would have gotten to restart a night ago, I think you probably maybe go somewhere like Jaden Newt, maybe something in that regard. But when you're coming into a game like this where it's a complete restart, refresh, you need somebody with starting experience. Case and Evans has that. He can just go out there and go through a starter's routine. Not only that, the stuff is some of the best on LSU staff. Like, the way I've kind of put it throughout the season is Case and Evans is the only other pitcher on this staff outside of Ianson and Anderson who has shown you consistently, emphasis on consistently, that he can mix his pitches with his much success as they can, like 3-4 pitches for strikes. So I love that. What Case and Evans did so well today was own the bottom of the zone. UCLA is not a team that strings together things very well. They don't hit a lot of doubles. Yes, they have like 70-something home runs, which is a lot for them, but it's not a lot in the grand scheme of college baseball. They need help. They need walks. They need errors, things of that nature. They're very similar to West Virginia. Now, yes, they did string together a rally against Ianson in the first inning. That was great. When you look at what they did later in the game, it happened off of a walk, a wild pitch, all of that, and nothing left in the infield in that inning either. But Case and Evans pounded the zone. I believe he got 1 fly ball out today. The rest of them were strikeouts and groundouts. He owned the bottom of the zone. LSU did a really good job of that in general on the mound. Outside of the first inning for Ianson, when he really settled in, he was down in the zone. Cooper Williams was down in the zone. He just lacked a little bit of fastball command. And Chase Shores was awesome again. But I love the decision to go to Evans. You're trying to get to 2-0. You go with one of your best. And Evans is one of your best, especially in a lengthy role. So I love that decision. And he executed it perfectly. I would have loved to have seen him get you through the 8th, but he was a little gassed. I mean, he had pitched already Saturday. So, he can have a day or 2 rest now, hopefully, and he'll be geared up for the championship series. But the important thing is you got to 2-0. And you have so many opportunities on the mound now. Like you can go so many different ways if you're LSU over the next few days in Omaha.
Look, hand up this morning on OTB. I said I didn't want Evans to start just because I thought that you could get it done without Case and Evans. But, I mean, to your point about going through the winners bracket, like now the good news for LSU is regardless of if you have Evans the next 2 days, okay, a team has to beat you twice. Yes. A team that is going to play tonight is going to have to beat you twice. UCLA used a lot of pitchers today. Now, they didn't go a whole heck of a lot as far as number of pitches wise, but I don't think there was a bad decision. I mean, again, I said this morning I wouldn't have went Case and Evans, but I like it. I mean, I like it if you get that performance, if you win the game. My only worry was if you go Case and Evans and don't win this game, you would have had to have won tonight. 3 games essentially without him. If you went and he went this distance without him, I thought you could win the game without him. But you know what? Credit to Jay Johnson. Like, he went in there and he said, I got to win this game. Because my thought was like, okay, you want to win every game in Omaha. Technically must win is like season on the line, right? But when you look at it now, I think Arkansas has a huge advantage over UCLA because UCLA played earlier today. Like, had LSU lost today, I think they would have been behind the 8 ball against Arkansas tonight just because, I mean, you know, coming in, having to play at 10 a.m., taking a little bit off, and then, I mean, it's a doubleheader, but it's an extended doubleheader, right? Like, he rolled the dice a little bit, but it paid off in a huge way.
It did, but, you know, I don't even really know if he was rolling the dice because the other thing is Evans is so good against lefties. Like, he's really they put the graphic up.
Three lefties came up to start the game.
They put the graphic up on the screen right before the game started. The lefties are hitting like 177 off of him. So, I mean, they knew it was calculated, and it was the right move. You're trying to get to 2-0 for a couple of reasons, and I want to get a little bit more into the game as well. I definitely want to talk about Jared Jones. Maybe we can do that in the next segment. But getting to 2-0, what that leaves you now is you haven't seen Jaden Newt. You haven't seen Jacob Myers. You haven't seen Zach Cowan. Like, I think Chase Shores.
You had Rizzy warming up. He's available. Like, you have all these guys.
Chase Shores has thrown a total of like 20-something pitches so far.
Because he threw, what, 12 to 15 today? 10 on Saturday?
You could theoretically use him to close out a game tomorrow. But winning on Wednesday night is imperative for LSU because it gives you your rest back.
Yeah, because today was supposed to be your rest day.
What you lost in a rest day today, it gives you that back, potentially having Thursday and Friday off. So you had to go in all in and try to get yourself to 2-0. It's just because that also can help restore in some sense your advantage of Anderson and Ianson. We'll see how they use Anthony Ianson the rest of the way. Again, like tomorrow would normally be a bullpen day for him. So you could see him close out the ball game potentially. Yes, you could see him close out the ball game and then be potentially ready to go for you in a game 3. A lot of things are open for them in now at 2-0 with the pitching staff and the great performances they've got. LSU's played great baseball so far through. And how about the defense, dude? Taylor, we got to talk about the defense before we take a break.
Oh man, because that's kind of lost, right? Because everybody's looking at, earlier you were tearing the cover off the ball in the season and your bullpen's bad. Now your bullpen's great. Your offense has been kind of up and down. Like, defense has been so elite and so consistent that it's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle.
It has a little bit, which is, in a way, we've started kind of taking it for granted. Like, they're going to make the play. But the 2 double plays you turned Saturday night against Arkansas, those were both in key moments. Stephen Milam has been fantastic. Danny Dickinson, though, in that UCLA game over the course of Monday night and Tuesday morning, he was sensational over at second base. And even on the plays he didn't have a throw, getting to the baseball was huge. You look in the first inning on Monday night, he dives, snares a ball at the middle, and prevents a run from scoring right there. Like that's the little things, game within the game. LSU brought their gloves to Omaha, and they've had them all season long, but they have been absolutely phenomenal defensively so far through 2 games in this series.
Yeah, they really. I'm glad you brought that up because, like, when we were kind of recapping the scoring a little bit earlier, I mentioned Daniel Dickinson got the ball, got up, he had no throw. But to your point, like, there were multiple runners on base. It's likely 4-0 if Daniel Dickinson can't get that. That changes everything completely, right? Because then you take the lead in the bottom of the first. That lead's no longer there if it's 4-0 in the top of the first inning. So, like, he was excellent. Stephen Milam continues to be excellent at shortstop. Like, your outfield is stepping up. Everything you have needed to put together on defense. Again, it's been so good that you kind of forget about it at times, right? It's like good special teams in football, right? If you're not talking about it, then it's done a really good job. And that's where LSU's been. Okay, look, we're going to take a timeout. When we get back, we're going to talk a little Jared Jones and then maybe, like, what LSU's pitching looks like moving forward, who's available coming up tomorrow and Thursday as well. So that's coming up here on the other side on the Hunt Palmer Show and LSU Postgame here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Vaughn and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Whenever I say remodel, you might think, oh, that's a huge project, going to cost a fortune, going to take forever, have to leave my home. Well, that stuff can happen, but that's not really what we're talking about here. To further that point, let's just talk about something simple like a tub to shower conversion. That's not massively expensive. That's not super invasive. That's not super time consuming. It's a simple process that can be done if your bathtub is not used, if it's old and dingy, if it's not functional. You take that bathtub out, put in a glass walk-in shower. It changes the aesthetic, changes the functionality of your bathroom, adds value to your home. And David Vaughn and his team can help you with it every step of the way. They handle everything. You don't call him and then call the guy to handle this part, and this guy handles the floor. And one contractor, one call. It's One Bath and Closets. Find them online at onebathandclosets.com. Get that free consultation and get that process started today. It's One Bath and Closets. Find them online. onebathandclosets.com.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Live from Omaha, powered by Our Lady of the Lake, Championship Health for everybody. And presented by GoFlow Ivy Spa and Yingling Flight. You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Welcome back in. Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Taylor Sharp, Matthew Musso here with you. The LSU Tigers get a 9-5 victory over UCLA and are in the winner's bracket after taking down Arkansas and UCLA in the first 2 games. They will play the winner of UCLA-Arkansas, which plays tonight, tomorrow night, scheduled at 6 p.m. Moose, before we went to break there, you wanted to brag on Jared Jones a little bit, man, and I don't blame you, right? 0 for 5 on Saturday against Arkansas, 5 strikeouts, like about as bad of a performance as you could possibly have. Yesterday, he hits the 3-run homer to put you up 4-3. He had a crucial RBI in the game today. Like, Jared Jones, how big was he in this game?
He was massive. And, you know, Jared Jones has been a very easy target this year.
Yeah.
Okay? He just has. Because it's year 3 watching him. He got off to such a great start this season where he was hitting 400 through pre-conference play. I mean, really, even early into SEC play, he was doing quite well. And then he fell back on some bad habits at the plate. And he's been an easy target. But I'm going to tell you that the performance you saw from Jared Jones against UCLA was a predictable one because it's what he's done throughout the season, but also throughout the postseason. Jared Jones, when you look at the regional, those first 3 games, he was 2 out of 15. You get to that regional final, they drop him down in the lineup. He goes 2 for 5, drives in 5 runs. Against West Virginia, he's 1 for 4 out of the first day. Punched out in there. You go back to the second game of that one. He's 3 out of 4 and drives in 3 runs. And then, as you said, the 0 for 5 against Arkansas with 8 strikeouts, which is not good. Like, that's bad. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that any part of that is acceptable. It's really poor. But he follows that up by going 2 for 4 and driving in 4 runs. This is a guy who, and I don't mean this as a slight to Jared Jones. I don't want it to come off as that. But we know what he is. This is deep into his 3rd year. These are the last games that he is ever going to play in an LSU baseball uniform, and then he is going to be off to postseason ball. To professional baseball. He is a career 300 hitter, who is third all-time in home runs, and he strikes out a lot, and he's got a great glove at first base. That's who he is. It's been very productive for you for 3 games. The other thing I likened it to on Musso at the Box, the postgame after the Arkansas game, Taylor, was this. A lot of people in that 2023 World Series just crushed Jordan Thompson because of what he was doing at the plate. And Jordan Thompson was also a very easy target for LSU fans. And then in the championship game, he came through. He had his moment. I said the same thing is going to happen for Jared Jones, and it wouldn't surprise me if it happened in the very next game. And it did. Credit to him. He kept his head down, blocks out all the noise, works after practice with Jay Johnson like he does just about every single week. And the message gets home and he takes it to the field. It is what baseball is built on. You leave the previous day at the field, no matter how good, no matter how bad it was. And the other thing, when you just look at LSU's offense, and the 16 strikeouts they had against Arkansas. Arkansas is really freaking good. Gabe Gackle is going to play Major League Baseball. He's going to pitch for a very long time. They're really good. UCLA's pitching, not quite to that level. You punched out 7 times and scored 9 runs. All of that matters at this time of the year. Stephen Milam has been great, but Jared Jones. All I'm saying with Jared Jones is let the praise be as loud as the disrespect has been for as long as it has been this season. Because when you look up, the guy's still hitting .325 with 21 homers and 74 RBI. It's been a really good year, and you can talk to me about his SEC season. I don't care, because you know what season's more important than the SEC season? The postseason. And he's on the doorstep of hitting 300 in the postseason right now. I'll have his full numbers for you on Musso at the Box later tonight. But Jared Jones, a great bounce back, and one that has followed a trend for him so far in this postseason. Hats off to Bear Jones. That was an awesome performance, and a big performance for LSU when they needed it most.
I'm glad you brought up Jordan Thompson, because, Jordan had such a bad slump at the plate that it almost affected him in the field, right? He was making those errors, and he was so solid for you at shortstop all year long leading up to that. He turns things around. Bear turns things around. And, I had heard people over the weekend say, hey, can you replace Jared Jones at first base? No, you can't. And I get it. Everyone's going to say, oh, well, it's first base. You just put somebody in there. No, Jared Jones is a very good defender. He is a very good glove at first base. We were talking about it going into the super regional, who needed to step up. And across the board, the easy answer was Milam, which Stephen Milam looks like he's back at his postseason form. That's great for this lineup. But with Milam hitting the way he is, Jones getting out of his slump, this lineup also becomes really dangerous now 1 through 9. I mean, it does. You spread these guys out, this lineup becomes a lot more dangerous. And Jared Jones is a big part of that. You're not taking that guy out because, to your point, you know who he is. At any moment, can Jared Jones strike out? Sure, but he can send one over the wall 400 feet if he needs to.
And that was an impressive home run because it went through the teeth of the wind. That wasn't just an opposite field shot down the line to the bullpen. That was to the alley. Now, it barely got out, but it got out, and that's all that matters. To your point about Stephen Milam, isn't that the conversation we had all season long?
Yep.
When he was scuffling, it's man, if you can get him back on the right track, if you can get him going, that changes this offense because it just adds another bat and a versatile bat in Milam that can hit at the top, middle, or bottom of your order.
And it's funny because of his struggles, he actually had to do that this year.
And with that, it was the fourth inning when they restarted the game. You have 2 outs, and Curiel puts together just another elite at bat at the College World Series where he stays on that changeup and drives it to the opposite field. Fry walks, Milam comes up, and Curiel's the best at bat in your lineup. Stephen Milam is 1B.
Yes.
And he stayed on the changeup as well and hooked it down the line in right, and you end up getting the run across. That's just the difference that he adds to this lineup because now instead of having him, 4-hole, I think 3-hole is such a great spot for him. In there because I like having Brown and Jones behind him. They've stumbled upon what is now really their more traditional lineup. And that's the other thing I wanted to bring up too. The top of your lineup was so much better today and Monday night when you were able to go back to the traditional lineup. On Saturday against Arkansas, LSU is 0 for 13, 1 through 3. In game 2, let's just call it game 2 against UCLA, the top of the LSU lineup, 1 through 3, went a combined 4 out of 10. They hit 400. And then when you really look at Milan Brown-Jones, I mean, that's where the bulk of it came. That's where 7 of your 9 RBI came from in the ballgame.
I'm glad you brought up the more traditional lineup, right? Because, all the talk has been moving Derek Curiel down whenever you're facing a lefty because he hadn't been good against lefties. Now, two sides that you could say, well, yes, he has. He's been really good his last 2 outings against lefties. And then some will say, yeah, because you moved him down in the lineup. Like, your thoughts on Curiel, righty, lefty, like, you just keep him at the top or you still like the movement?
I would always keep Derek Curiel at the top of the lineup. I want
Derek Curiel permanently at the top.
I think he's the best at bat in your lineup, and I want him to get as many at bats as possible. That being said, I think the left-handed struggles for Derek Curiel really got magnified down the stretch of the season. Because earlier in the year, when the kid was hitting well over 400, he wasn't just doing that off of righties. And he wasn't just doing that also, in pre-conference. I mean, he was awesome for the large majority. He has shown the ability this year to hit left-handed pitching. As that got a little bit better, he started to struggle. But the at-bats he's had against lefties in the postseason have been very good, whether it was staying on the pitch away and hitting it out of the park against Griffin Kern, whether it was the at-bat against Cole Gibbler staying on the slider, also using the opposite field. That's what it comes down to. Like, that's the change you see in Curiel. He's keeping his front shoulder in against the lefty and being able to stay with the pitch and drive it the other way. That's what you have to do. A guy like Mark Laird, just to go back a few years for LSU, was so good against lefties because he had that ability. He wore out the 6-hole his entire career at LSU because he knew he just had this ability to keep the front shoulder tight. And Derek Curiel's doing that now as of late. And for that, again, I think he's the best at bat in your lineup. I want him in the leadoff spot so he can get it at all times. And I also think your lineup just functions better that way also. Jay Johnson's called him the engine of the offense.
Yeah, I agree. I like leaving him at the top. All right, look, we're going to take a quick timeout. We get back. Hunt Palmer will actually join us via phone. These are the live updates from Omaha. We're getting from Hunt. Do want to mention Our Lady of the Lake Health, Yingling Flight, Go Flow IV Spa, sponsors of Hunt's trip to Omaha. We're going to have live updates when we get back from the man himself, Mr. Hunt Palmer, here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at pockethose.com/terms.
Live from Omaha, powered by Our Lady of the Lake, Championship Health for everybody. And presented by Go Flow Ivy Spa and Yingling Flight. This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Welcome back in. Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Taylor Sharp, Matt Musso here in studio. We are not live from Omaha, but one guy is, our own Hunt Palmer. We go to the phone lines right now. Hunt joining us. Hunt, how are you, man?
How do you think I'm doing?
I think you're doing very well. LSU in the winner's bracket for the first time since 2009. How's it feel, sir?
It feels great. That was as solid as you could be in this morning restart. Last night they got dealt a bad hand, and it happens in baseball and the sport. The weather can impact things. Sometimes it's the wind, sometimes it's the rain, and that's kind of a nightmare scenario when you lose Ianson there after 9 outs. That burns him for a couple of days and doesn't really eat up much of the game. Jay Johnson had a decision to make. Okay, what do we want to do? Do we want to take this 2-run lead and go with Cooper Williams, go with Jaden Newt, and see if we can't hold Kason Evans for later? Or do we just want to put our best arm out there? And he put his best arm out there, and his best arm gave him an incredible effort. 4 1/3 against the pesky offense, and LSU's offense continued to add on the 2 out. All 5 runs they scored today were with 2 outs, which was incredible to watch. And I thought it was a great performance in adverse circumstances. And are you in a perfect position now with your pitching? No, I wouldn't say it's perfect. You're going to have to survive tomorrow without Ianson, Anderson, or Evans, but you're in a situation where you only have to win one more game, and the other two teams in your bracket have to win 3 in a row. So he'll take that.
Hunt, I wanted a little bit more thought on Casey Evans. What do you think worked for him so well today?
He threw a ton of strikes. I looked up at one point, and it was something like he'd thrown 40 pitches, and 31 of them were strikes, something like that. This is a team that wants to work you, wants to get the leadoff man on, wants to bunt, wants to draw walks. They're not going to slug. I mean, you look at, and something I've noticed with UCLA last night and today, they had a bunch of 3-1 pitches with kind of short, compact, other way swings. Like, they're not even trying to do a ton of damage. They're a singles team. And in that ballpark, just throw it over the plate, let your defense work. And he did that. He threw a ton of strikes. He threw some really good split changes. He threw some really good breaking balls. And he just stayed ahead and kept the UCLA leadoff man off base. The only inning that the UCLA leadoff man reached in the entire 9 innings going back to last night was the first, and that's when they got the 3 runs. So I liked everything Casey Evans did, but I think that it boils down to strikes, and that's really almost every outing you look like. It's just how many strikes do you throw, and Evans was awesome.
Hunt, so when I was filling in for Matt on AFR Friday, you came on, we talked World Series. When you did the pregame show Saturday from Omaha, we talked World Series. And one of the things we talked about in each of those segments, each of those shows, was Chase Shores and what you thought he had to mean for this team. You've seen him for 2 outings now, both in a closer role. What have you made of Chase Shores' appearances in Omaha so far?
Man, had to have it. Had to have it both times, and you absolutely got it. He came in a really difficult spot because, look, you got a 3-run lead, and then you got 3 men on base, and the UCLA lineup is about to turn over. You got the 9-hole, and that's the guy you've got to get. You've got to get call out. He's not a very good hitter. He hit 260 in the Big Ten, and Shores comes in there, and usually, you got a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. You're going to come in there and throw that fastball. Well, he didn't. He came in and threw a first-pitch breaking ball, and Cole swung at it and grounded it right to the shortstop, and Milam made the play. That was a monster spot because if you throw a bad pitch there or you walk a guy, and you let the top 2 guys in that order come up, like, you can lose that game pretty quickly. And it's a game that we felt like LSU was in control of after Jared Jones' home run, really for the rest of the game. And Shores was awesome. And in the 9th, they didn't even sniff him. So that's massive for LSU. He's now got to have a ton of confidence. That's a big part of this whole deal. When you got stuff as good as his, like, you just got to feel confident about it. And he does. And I don't know if he's available tomorrow or not, but he's gotten LSU to this point. They had to have it. There's not a realistic scenario in which LSU could navigate this bracket, winner's bracket or loser's bracket, without Shores being really good, and he was absolutely awesome in both outings.
Speaking of Chase Shores, Hunt, like, you've seen him in 2 outings, not a ton of pitches in either of those outings. Like, what day do you think he could be available? And as far as tomorrow goes, the game you have to play at 6 o'clock, who do you like maybe starting? Like, what does that pitching rotation look like as far as available arms?
Well, we've heard Jay Johnson talk, and once LSU got to Sunday of the regional and had a game to play with there, and they ended up losing it, but had a game to play with, he held Evans, and he kind of played it a little bit closer to that. So I don't think in a game tomorrow night he's going to rush Shores back, rush Ianson back, rush Anderson back. I think you're going to navigate it without him. So you've got to get 27 outs through 9 innings with Caden Newt and with DJ Primo and with Zach Cowan, who's going to have to be a factor here, with Maverick Rizzi. I mean, you've got enough guys to get those outs, and if you lose the game and have to come back Thursday, I would suggest Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson would be available in that game, and certainly if Shores didn't pitch, he would too. So you're not in an advantageous position from the arms that are available in tomorrow's game. You are in a good spot in terms of advancing to the final, because I think that Cade Anderson could come back and give you 85, 90 pitches on Thursday if it got there. And there is a chance, and this is obviously just a chance, but there's a chance we get weather today, we might get weather tomorrow, and if you have to bump a game back to Friday, you absolutely have Cade Anderson and or Anthony Ianson ready to go in that one. So as far as the starter tomorrow, I think that Cowan and Newt are probably the most realistic options. I think you'd love to get 3 innings from either one of them and then kind of feel out where it is. So we'll see. But those 2 teams have to play a game between now and then, and Arkansas is going to start Zach Root tonight. So you feel like you're in a good spot right now.
Hunt, thoughts on the bounce back at the plate for Jared Jones today?
I just think it was awesome. I thought that the home run yesterday was awesome, and I thought that 2-out RBI single to the right side. You're facing a really good pitcher in Hawk who throws hard, and a lot of times Jones is criticized for the nature of his swings and not shortening up and not not trying to do something a little bit more manageable than swinging for the downs. And that was just, he's throwing 95. I'm going to get the bat to the ball. I'm going to put it on the line. And that's all LSU needed in that spot. I thought that insurance run was huge. And I thought that was just an awesome performance overall for the game for Jared Jones, who absolutely needed it.
What about the offense as a whole? Because that's another thing you and I talked about kind of on AFR and as well as the pregame show. Confidence level in the offense heading into Omaha. Did their style that they've played this year translate a little bit? I mean, they've manufactured, but you did have the homer. You've had a double or two in there. Or what have you made? Also against two very different pitching staffs for LSU so far as well.
No, I thought it was a great offense. I mean, look, if you strike out 16 times against Arkansas as a fresh staff, like that's going to happen. Those dudes are legit. I mean, Dave Van Horn had anybody he wanted to go to in that outing with maybe the most talented pitching staff in the country. That's a tough assignment, and LSU did enough to win because they had Cade Anderson on the other side, who's as good or better than all those guys. And then last night and this morning, you see a UCLA staff that doesn't have dudes. They've got a bunch of guys at those sinker sliders in the low 90s, a couple of premium arms that you saw in certainly Hawk, and then I thought that there was one other one you saw that was pretty good. But like, you weren't going to see huge strikeout numbers, and I thought LSU did a great job of manufacturing some runs. They got the big swing from Jones, which you love to see, and then as I mentioned a little earlier, driving in 5 runs with 2 outs. That's just great baseball. That's how you're going to win a College World Series. You've got to get big hits with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, and that's not something you can practice, not something you can be good at. You just got to have good hitters that get hit, and you've got Milam, who's sizzling right now, Jones, who had a great game, awesome work from Jake Brown as well. Fry's been really good, so you're playing great. You're going to face more really good arms at some point down the line here, and sometimes you're going to struggle against those guys, but that's what you've got a pitching staff for that should be able to match up, and that's why LSU has won 2 games that Zach Root started this year and beat Tyson Witherspoon and beat Jared Spencer and beat Pico Khan and beat Griffin Kern. And they're good. And they've been good enough those 2 games. And this certainly is a much easier route to the final than they've had the last 2 times where they navigated the loser's bracket.
We were talking earlier, Moose, about the role of Derek Curiel, because Moose made a good point about when your traditional lineup has been here in the postseason, you've been really good, meaning Derek Curiel at the top. I know that Jay typically moves him down because the word is he struggles with lefties. Last 2 times out, he's been good against lefties. What do you do with Curiel? Do you keep moving him around based on righty lefty, or you just stick him right there at the top and roll with it?
That's what they're going to do. They're going to move him around. It doesn't really matter what I think they should do. Jay Johnson's going to hit Josh Pearson at the top of the lineup against lefties. He's going to hit Curiel at the top of the lineup against righties. But I just like having that guy in the lineup, and I certainly like him at the top of the order. And you know what? If he's in there in the 6 or 7 hole, that makes the bottom of your order very formidable as well. When you can get him on base, get him to drive in runs, and you can have Braswell and Stanfield maybe behind him to do a little bit of the bunt game if you want to create some offense at the bottom of your order, rolling it over to the top. So I don't care. I mean, Derek Curiel is just awesome. He's such a treat to watch hit. His ability to stay on the left-handed slider the last 2 weeks has been awesome. And then when you give him a right-hander, he squares it up more often than not. So he's one of the best players in the country, and he's shown that on the biggest stage.
To that point, one change they've also made that has kind of stuck for the College World Series. I know they did it. I can't remember which game of the Super Region it was. It was probably game number 1 against Kern. But Dickinson has kind of stayed at the bottom of the lineup too. On Saturday, Dickinson hit 7th right behind Curiel. Today, even with the righty on the mound, they left him down there in the 8 hole. And you talk about a guy, like you just said with Curiel, Hunt, who can be down there, hit for average, drive in runs. I mean, you look at the 7th inning. I know it wasn't the prettiest of hit, but it got the job done. And if you don't have Danny Dickinson potentially in that spot down there at the bottom of the order to continue lengthening it, the only real length you had was Stanfield at that spot. So I do like that change as well, having Dickinson down. It's kind of like earlier in the year when they had Milam in the 8 hole to a sense. So he's still plugging away with that lineup card, but he keeps pressing the right buttons.
Yeah, he is. And you're talking about Dickinson. He's fighting a little bit. He's not seeing it great, and he didn't hit that ball very hard. But I was talking on the broadcast that he was seeing a lot of everything was away. The slider was away. The fastball was away. They were pitching away. And I said, he needs to lean out and try to hit it the other way. And he actually chased, because that ball was a good bit off the plate, but he got enough of it to flare it into to right field and get the job done. So and UCLA was a testament to this in the first inning and in the eighth inning. Like when you don't strike out, sometimes you don't hit it on the screws, but you create something by the fact that you made contact. UCLA had a ton of infield hits in this game, 2 of them which scored runs. So you'll take that little duck snort into right field when you put the ball in play and don't swing and miss. Good things tend to happen, and they did for Dickinson there.
Do you have your scorebook handy by any chance?
I do not. I just walked into the hotel. I'm not Coach trying to set all this stuff up.
All right, never mind then. I only recalled one fly ball out for Case and Evans. I wanted to confirm it, but I'll find it.
Yeah, I don't have that handy, but I know exactly where to find it once I set up. So hopefully I can hang up with y'all right now and then set this stuff up and be back. It's maybe 10 minutes into hour number 2 would be my hope here. So I'll let y'all carry the torch to the end of the hour, and I'll let y'all know when I'm ready to rock.
All right, Hunt, thank you so much for hopping on. Hunt will be live with you from Omaha in hour number 2. I want to thank the Omaha sponsors, GoFlow IV Spa, Our Lady of the Lake Health, and Yingling Flight. We're going to take a timeout. We get back, we're going to continue to break things down for the College World Series. That's coming up here on the other side, or on the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that is on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Safety, probably a big deal if you're in the market for a vehicle. If you go shop at Genesis of Baton Rouge, you will know that you're getting behind the wheel of one of the safest cars on the road, because every single model on the line, every single model was a IIHA top safety pick. Some of them were top safety picks plus. So from the entry level to the highest end, you're talking about a car that is among the safest on the road. That's a big, big deal. So you start there, then you go check out the style, the comfort, all those bells and whistles that come with a luxury brand of vehicle. That's all there for you at Genesis of Baton Rouge. And if you make a purchase, every single purchase comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Every single purchase comes with a 3 years of complimentary valet maintenance. It's all there at Genesis of Baton Rouge. I invite you to go by and see them. Airline at Pico across from Women's Hospital, or start your process today online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
Hi, I'm Richard Karn, and you may have seen me on TV talking about the world's #1 expandable garden hose. Well, the brand new Pocket Hose Copperhead with Pocket Pivot is here, and it's a total game changer. Old-fashioned hoses get kinks and creases at the spigot, but the Copperhead's Pocket Pivot swivels 360 degrees for full water flow and freedom to water with ease all around your home. When you're all done, this rust-proof anti-burst hose shrinks back down to pocket size for effortless handling and tidy storage. Plus, your super light and ultra-durable Pocket Hose Copperhead is backed with a 10-year warranty. What could be better than that? I'll tell you what, an exciting exclusive offer just for you. For a limited time, you can get a free Pocket Pivot and their 10-pattern sprayer with the purchase of any size Copperhead hose. Just text WATER to 64,000. That's WATER to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. WATER to 64,000.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Pocket Hose. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at PocketHose.com/terms.
Live from Omaha, powered by Our Lady of the Lake, Championship Health for everybody. And presented by GoFlow IV Spa and Yingling Flight. You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Welcome back in. Final segment, hour number 1, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Taylor Sharp, Matthew Musso here with you. We just had Hunt on. He is actually setting up to go live, as he has the past 2 days of his show. Probably around the 2 o'clock hour, we'll get a update. But until then, we are rocking right along with you. Look, we have broken down who LSU has available, what their pitching rotation could look like going forward, how the lineup's taking shape, the defense. But Moose, in this segment, I want to kind of get your thoughts on this, because if somebody's at the press conference and they ask Jay Johnson, hey, coach, hand over here, Taylor Sharp, 104.5 ESPN, which team would you rather face on Wednesday night? He would probably kick me out of the press conference. So I'm going to ask you, if you're LSU, who do you like better matchup-wise tomorrow night, whether it's pitching, how you think you can do against their lineup? You want to face the Hogs or the Bruins?
Yeah, I want to face the UCLA Bruins again. Yep. That's kind of a no-brainer for me. Look, Arkansas is extremely talented. Arkansas might be the most talented team in the field remaining. I don't want to play them again if you don't have to. But if you want something more than just that, look at UCLA. They have their way of using their pitching staff, but they've already had to tax that so far through 2, and they're going to have to play a game tonight. Maybe. We'll see with the weather. It looks pretty crappy in Omaha yet again, so they might get a little bit more of a reprieve. For that reason, it doesn't really add up great for them against that Arkansas lineup, but that lineup has struggled. But I'm looking at this. Wyland Moss has pitched twice already for UCLA, and he has thrown about 30 pitches across those two. Not terrible. Ian May has pitched twice already for UCLA. He has thrown also actually around 30 pitches.
He's an option tomorrow.
2. Yeah. Jack O'Connor has pitched twice. August Souza has pitched twice, and Easton Hawk have already pitched twice. So if they do somehow get through Arkansas, they're going to be taxed from a bullpen perspective. And LSU already got a look at 7 relievers from UCLA. So I want that. Now, you've played a 3-game series against Arkansas, but again, that's interesting. They're really talented. The interesting thing with Arkansas, though, Taylor, is they're going to start Zach Root tonight.
Yep.
Which it makes a lot of sense. He threw 38 pitches against LSU. Your season is on the line. Go with the guy who's been your game 1 starter for the majority of the time, who's going to be hungry and want to prove that he's better than what he showed Saturday night against LSU. All of that makes a lot of sense. The interesting thing is there, though, that completely takes him out of the equation against LSU.
In a game, you have to beat him twice.
In a situation where you'd have to beat him twice. Like I will never say never for that win or go home Thursday game. Could you see him for something? But he's not nearly going to be as effective as he has been. And even if he is, and you do come back and beat LSU twice, he is out of commission to start, at least for you in the championship game, championship series. So that is an interesting decision. What it would leave Arkansas with, depending on who they back Root up with, I mean, Landon Beidelshees has been their game 3 starter the majority of the year. He has not pitched, at least he has not started in the postseason. He's pitched out of the bullpen 1 time. Aiden Jimenez started the regional opener against North Dakota State and then actually came out of the bullpen in the Super. Those are options for you starting if you're looking at Arkansas. But again, it's all hands on deck after Zach Root. You might need those guys to keep your season alive against UCLA. So what's interesting for Arkansas more than the pitching is their offense has just not translated well at all.
No, we were talking about it.
Charles Schwab Field.
The Gage Wood game that everybody's going to talk about. The no-hitter.
And they should, by the way. That was incredible.
The 19 strikeouts. That's a 3-0 ball game against Murray State. Now, the kid against going from Murray State, he had a really good game, but it's still Murray State. You're still Arkansas. You should have more success because right now you've scored 3 runs against Murray State, 1 run against LSU. That's your performance right now in Omaha. Like, you got to have the bats to back these guys up.
You do. And again, now with a tired UCLA pitching staff, you could see those numbers inflate a little bit for Arkansas, but overall the returns from them at the plate, because that has been their calling card. Like, that lineup has been the best in the nation this season. And you've seen it. And I'm not trying to throw dirt on them because I think they have some very talented hitters and they're versatile, but you've seen this throughout the history of that park, where some big bopping offenses get in there and they go into a shell. And it's just, when I looked at Arkansas before the opener against LSU, I dug up, I wish I had my legal pad in here with me because I have it written down. Arkansas scored 41 runs on 51 hits in the regional. Or no, that was in the postseason combined. And it was... 66% of their runs scored via the homer. Now, they're getting guys on base in other ways before that, but they were driving them in with that home run. You've hit 1 so far, and it was a solo shot. Like, through 2 games, is that something you really need to look at for Arkansas right now?
Well, like, to your point, like, if their bats can come around, and I get it, everyone's going to say, oh, well, LSU has the advantage on the mound because you're going into the winner's bracket, they're coming out of a loser's bracket. Sure, but as far as a loser's bracket team goes, Moose, like, really the only guys that are unavailable for them right now, at least tonight, is Geichel and Gage Wood. Like, that's it. You used Wood, and that was it. And even if you needed Geichel in like a gotta-have-it 9th inning,
that's what I was going to say.
He can go. So you can say, oh, well, this is their 3rd game. LSU's only on their 2nd game. Like, you have the pitching advantage. Outside of Wood, and after tonight, Zach Root, everybody is available for Arkansas the next 2 days.
He threw 90 pitches, Gabe Gackel threw 90 pitches against LSU on Saturday. You're looking at Sunday, Monday, and now Tuesday evening.
Yep.
If you need him for an inning with your season on the line,
he can give it to you.
He can give that to you. Now, they also have other guys that can as well. No, Parker Coyle hasn't pitched at all for Arkansas.
No, he's got a 127 ERA.
He's been incredible since coming back off of the injury. Another lefty. So, that's an option. So, you don't have to use Gackle, but if you get to that point where you look and you go, man, it's a one-run game, you got to shut it down, he can give you something. But he'd definitely be ready for LSU on Wednesday night.
That's the thing. You look at these two teams and say, okay, well, they're in the losers bracket, but Arkansas is pitching. Like we just mentioned, outside of Gage Wood, they pretty much have everyone ready. Okay, that's going to do it for hour number 1 of the Hunt Palmer Show. We'll probably get the hour number 2 started. Then we'll hand things over to Hunt Palmer. He is live, boots on the ground in Omaha, breaking down the Tigers advancing in the winners bracket here at the College World Series. Hour number 2 coming up.
The Hunt Palmer Show.